Um, yeah. So you wrote to me, right? You wrote to me, and it was I think it was in regard to a topic on one of the shows. Do you
Yeah,
remember?
I saw the shows with Kaya and what's the other one? With Ivan Perez.
Oh, Ivan. Yeah, Ivan. Ivan.
Ivan, yeah, we
Iban.
call it
Iban.
Ivan. So,
Eben. Yeah. And let's see, what were we talking about? Was it a subject on both of the shows or subjects on each show?
no, Kaya was talking about, I call it um, the narcissistic growing up.
Right.
And Ivan, or how do you
That's right.
pronounce it in
Ivan.
English?
Ivan. Depends on where you're from.
He he talked about the masculinity.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I think, I think we may have talked about this on that one of those shows or both of the shows that basically, essentially, this realm is a narcissistic realm. Basically, the
Yeah,
programming or the patriarchal, if you want to call it that, um, and we're all imprinted with it, and
yeah,
the importance of knowing that we carry that with us, but we carry the empath to balance it, and there is a middle ground, or whatever you want to talk about. what part of it do you want to talk about? Or do you want to talk about
uh,
what's been going on with you?
yeah. It's. I think it's related to those topics because at the moment it's. I don't feel really well at the moment.
Well,
Um,
well, thank you for
I
coming.
had yeah. It's the way to get rid of those energies. I talked last time to show up, and yeah, that's the way. And this was also on my mind when I contacted you to do this show today because I was like not visible uh, until I think 1 year or something like this, and now it's for me it's really important to show up and get visible in the world.
Yeah. So, what's been the biggest difference since the last time we talked in your life? Like, what's been the biggest difference, or what things have you noticed?
It's so hard because it's 1.5 months ago, I guess, and so much stuff happened. So I can't.
Like the rest of us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard to think about what 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 was happening 2 days ago. So I can't go back. But I think when I look at my life at the moment, I'm at the moment with friends at their home because I had to leave the flat I shared with the woman and her daughter because it was 1 year ago I uh, was living with a man, not my partner, but a man I know, and he had um, psychic problems really bad, and with alcohol, and he was in a, do you say a clinic, uh, rehab, something like that, and he came back 1 month earlier because he was positive test to COVID, and he came back, and the situation between us um, it it was not escalating at this moment, but you know when it's
Yeah.
near that it gets escalated. So I had I had to leave, and this started a really intense phase in my life because I was somehow like you without a real home, and I was living with the woman 2 months. Then I moved to this flat where I am now, actually, and she was. It was the same energy patterns like in my family.
Right.
So I had the chance to, uh, how do you say this, to go into this field and uh, change the energies and how I react to certain situations. But
Do you feel like that when you went internally and transformed within yourself, is that when the opportunity to move where you are now came?
uh, yeah, because now I'm like in holiday because I could also, I was searching for a flat for 1 year and I couldn't find a proper home, so I had to stay with this woman and her daughter, and um, I it was for me not a good living situation because it was not clean like I would have my home cleaned. They have a really lot of animals in the flat, and it was really loud during the night, so I couldn't sleep well, and I was all the time in their energy field, and it was really the last year. It was especially for my body really exhausting, and I'm now on the point that my brain doesn't function like I used to uh, recognize, and it's maybe it's going like a burnout, that the body is really in a bad mood at the moment. And so I had to decide last Tuesday that I can't stay in this flat anymore. And so friends told me come to us and stay because I got a new living opportunity, but I can just move on next Friday. So I had to find a solution in between. And but for me, it's really now I have a little distance, and I see how I can close. For me, it feels like I can close now a circle. I don't think it's only what I experienced in my family, in my childhood. I have the feeling it's going much
Okay.
back, some incarnations.
Ancestral.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're doing great. You don't need Daniel. Unless you want to bring Daniel in. It's up to you at any time. You're doing great.
No, at the moment it's okay.
What's your first language? Dutch, German?
No, Swiss German we call it.
Swiss German. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been feeling like your higher powers, or have you during this last 6 weeks or 8 weeks, whatever it's been, have you been I don't know how to explain it, like consciously, I guess you would say, like in 5D, or positive changes, or weird things or anything that might make you feel that this is really coming on to the body? Because obviously the body is speaking to you pretty loudly.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's what I told you last time. I can't get some answers from spirit guides or something like this. And I guess it's for me, and this showed up over the last weeks. Um, I don't need those conversations with spirit guides and stuff like this, because it's for me it's really important to be in this body and to embody this knowledge.
Right, right.
And I feel something new is not coming. It's here, and now we can bring it into the body and the material world.
What do you think that's going to look like?
I don't know.
I don't think anybody knows, right? Could be spaceships, could be fairies, it could be all of the above.
No, I don't think for me it's important spaceships and stuff like this. For me, it's really important to go to the maybe you call it 3D world, and to help people to get in touch with themselves, so we can move on together.
Yeah, yeah. Expand awareness, and I think it
Yeah,
is. I think it is expanding. I mean, ever since the COVID thing began, people spending more
yeah,
time with themselves, and we've all seen it, and it's moving fast. But yeah, as of like the end of last year, or as we got into this year, it definitely feels like to me the tide has turned, or it's obvious the tide is turning. Like we have
yeah,
the momentum, we have the force of the flow, or we're aligning with it, or something. Um, and I think there's something to be said too, where people like you um, are getting what looks to be displaced, just like our friend that was on before you and her
mhm,
family. They're staying with friends, but there seems to be, and it looks like that, but it's more of an energetic alignment. Like we're not able to be in places that don't fit with our soul's energy. And we get moved either by conscious effort or something else, or both. Have you spent a lot of time in solitude?
oh yeah. Most of the last 6 or 7 years, because I needed um, to say withdraw from the normal world, um, to feel what's really me, and what is my space, and what's coming from outside into my space, because that was the biggest task for me. um, I don't know, it's only the how I grow up, because I was living like a second part of my mom, and I did not know that my space, and so I had to um, go away from everything and discover myself.
Hmm. Do you spend any of your time in solitude, like I guess what people would call meditating, or just blocking everything out, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't I'm not a meditator,
I'm not
because
either.
I can't do this. So, but for me, it's everything is a meditation. If I clean. It's for me, it's much more an inner state, how I do something. And this, for example, washing up dishes can also be a meditation.
Yeah, like Zen.
Yeah.
And like you were talking about your body not being in a very good mood right now. um, do you like try to connect to your body? Do you communicate with your body like in a dialogue, or does it you just kind of feel what's happening and then go to work
No,
to
it's um, I don't know a lot of spiritual stuff and theories. So I discovered intuitive how what works for me,
right,
and a lot of times I feel if I get a small trigger, for example, not the big ones, I feel parts of my body, and then I can go into this space, and most of the time I can connect with a part of myself that was disconnected from myself, and
right.
then I can connect this stuff. And often it feels like maybe they call it inner child work.
Yeah,
But for me, it's not. I'm not really visible. For me, it's the feeling, and I. You talked about once. It's like you have children and you hold it, for example, but it's not all the time a child. It's really a part of me, and it's not always the human form.
okay, yeah, yeah. I can relate to that, especially the really dark stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's ugly. Oh, that's part of you. No. Um, God, what were you talking about? Oh, mm. Have you gone through? I guess you would say like more compassion for yourself. These through all this crazy energy last year, or love yourself more. Are you feeling that? I don't hear people really talking
Yeah.
about that. But I think ultimately, but beneath it all, that's got to be happening.
Yeah. It's with uh, finding my boundaries and where my space is, or that I have a space. um, I've learned to step up for myself. It's like I have a small child, and I protect this small child when a situation happens. And in this living situation where I was with this woman and her daughter, it was all it was really I had to pay the rent, but I had no space. I had my room, but I had no space in the big flat. And this was something I had to stand up for myself. So, and not in anger against her. It was
Love for yourself.
yeah, love for myself, but also the understanding that she plays a role, that I can
Right.
change behaviors inside of me.
Wow. You were talking about the inner child and other aspects that are not human form or whatever. Have you had any connections to your inner teenager?
I don't know, because it's I can't tell you if it's a teenager or a child. It's more like a part of me, but not with a certain age.
Okay. Yeah. Hmm. Have you noticed any kind of like change in your diet?
Uh, that's a big topic at the moment because I have to not end of March 2001 I broke my ankle, and since then I have really big problems with my stomach and gut. And at the moment I don't find anything to eat that is really good. So my whole body is out of balance, and I guess that's another topic for me to discover. Uh, I guess I have some healing qualities, and I can um, experience this through the state of my body to transform this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've heard a lot of people talking about the diet and what they can take in, especially over the last couple of months of 2022. And if it, everything seems to be speeding up. There's no start and stop, start and stop. And I got to believe that the same would hold true with this whole thing with the appetite, digestion. There's something going on there, like we're lightening up or purifying or both. And if it keeps happening, which I think it must, at least at the same rate that it's happened in these last few weeks or months, uh, there's going to be some real changes. We might be seeing some real physical evidence of the crystalline body coming online in the physical, you know,
Mm-hmm.
appearance or
Yeah, some changes are happening, but I can't put it in words if it's crystalline or something like this. But I feel something is changing for myself, but I guess also for a lot of others. Because at the moment, I don't know how it's in the States or somewhere else, but here in Switzerland, really a lot of people are ill or have the flu or something like this.
really.
Really, so much more than years before.
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know what's the reason, but and it's not if the point is not if they get the shot. How do you say this? The vaccination
right.
or not? Uh, it's really a lot of people and all the time, twice or three times um, in a row, and that's a sign that a lot of stuff is happening inside of the body, and that's the expression how the body reacts.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt. Well, I'm not going to say that. My personal perspective or opinion is that, yeah, there's a lot more of that going on than we're seeing, or that's being allowed to be seen. And I'm talking about hospitalizations, I'm talking about people transitioning. So I think that's probably going to become more obvious too as the days go by. Just another thing to take in, as we journey to a continuing, more expanding awareness. I mean, one thing's for sure, everything's coming to the surface. I mean,
Yeah.
we've done it in our lives, and continue to be presented with things from the past or loops or traumas or whatever, and as within, without. It's all, it's all coming out.
And I see this also in the. I live in a small city, but at the edge of the city, and when I go down to the main city center, I have to take the bus, and you see, and I feel how I call it the normal people. They can't put it in words, but they feel that something is happening, and that stuff like movies or something like this doesn't get them the same than before COVID or something like
Right.
this.
Yeah. Movies,
And
news, government,
food,
elections,
everything.
everything. Yeah, you're right. Food, interactions with other people. Yeah, it's like the third energy, or the whatever you want to call it, universal energy, um, Trinity energy. It's that's one way you could describe it. It's having an effect on everybody, even people we don't
Mhm.
think it would. You're right. I've heard more and more people talk about this, where people outside of these communities, they're noticing it within their family. Some people were talking about it after the holidays on a couple of shows.
And I find it really fascinating because I go with purpose down to the city center to when I'm really good with me and I'm stable in my energy. And I want to know how the energy down there is. And 2 weeks ago, it was really around the New Year. It was really, really aggressive, and I could feel that aggressive, and some frustration was also in it. And I guess that's exactly that people know that stuff doesn't bring them the same energy, or
Yeah,
what's the word, and they can't verbalize it or find what they want, and so it's putting them into a really bad bad state, because they we have some knowledge or tools that help us, and they don't have it at the moment. And that's, for me, it's really I'm really thankful for all the tools that I have with the
yeah,
knowledge, because I think it's really hard if you don't um, know what's going on in the world.
it's hard either way.
Yeah,
I
okay.
can't imagine what it's like to do it without tools, though. But yeah, we were talking about this in the last couple of shows, or one of them. Not today, but that that no matter what, the transformation comes on an individual basis,
Yeah.
and that's a superpower. It's a superpower. It really is, because it can't be stopped, even if you're in a jail cell.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true, or a psych, or a psych ward, or you're in in a small room in a place. And I know a lot of people can relate to this, or being displaced, or whatever the case is. We can still be conscious and present with ourselves, and that's a superpower,
Mhm.
because it brings conscious living, really. And with each aligning decision that we make, each choice, we're changing this place. You said Switzerland was, which the last time you were on, which I'd never thought about, but it made sense when you talked about it. That it because I said, yeah, Switzerland, that's like the greatest place in the world, and it's beautiful, and everybody's free, and then you're like, no, 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 no. So there's a pretty strong, let's just say, presence of the institutions, government, and finance, and church, and whatever state. Do you ever go into like Zurich or any of the bigger cities, or when's the last time, and what's it like with those people? Are they all wearing masks? I mean, no, they're not.
No, we don't have the mask. How do you call it? You when you have to wear the mask. How do you call this?
Comply, mandate.
Comply.
Yeah.
Mandate. That's
Mm-hmm.
the word. Since I think the middle of February last year. No, yeah, last year, 2020. No, 2022. And I go sometimes to Zurich exactly for the same reason when I go here down to the city center, because I want to know how people acting at the moment.
Yeah.
And Zurich is a city who has a lot of tourists, also from the Asian realm, and Zurich is a little. You see a little more masks than here in Winterthur. And here in Winterthur, you don't see a lot of masks. Sometimes older people wear one, but it's
Well, I
I
think
don't know.
in the bigger cities you're going to see it more. I'm in a big city
Yeah,
now, and in the heart of the city, and I was a little bit surprised when I first went to the grocery store, because they're big stores. You see quite a bit of it. I was a bit shocked. I would say probably like at least 10%, maybe 15%.
and I can't tell you how it's in Zurich, but here in Winterthur you have maybe I don't know 5%
Hmm.
or less, and a lot of people are really really relaxed. Also, when people cough in the bus or the train, and it's the atmosphere is really relaxed. And I think how I feel the field, it's that a lot of people don't buy the bullshit anymore,
Yeah. Yeah.
because also the vaccination, the second booster, was last time I saw, or I looked up, it's 2 or 3 months ago. The rate was under around 6%.
The rate of what? People getting it?
The COVID booster, the fourth vaccination.
Hmm.
So people don't buy. I think Swiss people don't buy this narrative anymore, or the bigger part of it.
Well, yeah, and that says a lot too, because I think all those Nordic countries, Scandinavian, Nordic, whatever it is, they're pretty. I mean, they're pretty intelligent regions. I mean,
Mm.
they've been established for a long, long time. They have a certain flavor to them. Like I've seen this one post, a couple, two, three times, or I guess post plural, and it's about the Norway prisons, and they had pictures of them, and they didn't look anything like prisons in America. They were like, they had like a commissary, like a grocery store, a small little place where they could buy food. It was open. It was trippy. But yeah, the people over there, I think they've always had, some intelligence. To me, they're like the Nordic star family type of seeds, as in different parts, different seeds were set up for the vehicles for these incarnations from different star families.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are, the crazy people talking about the crazy stuff that's real.
Yeah. I would love to dive into the topic about masculinity,
Go ahead.
because and I feel, because I know Daniel experienced some stuff with porn. I don't know if he wants to talk about it, but somehow I feel that
we got about 20 minutes. So you want me to pull him up here?
Yeah, I guess it's because he can talk about
Okay.
stuff.
Okay,
I can't talk.
I guess y'all have been talking though. Y'all must have been talking if you knew. So what did you say it was about? Porn? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Daniel, why isn't he coming up? I don't see him on here. That's weird.
Maybe we have to do another show, because I don't think that 20 minutes are enough.
Okay, well, at least give us a teaser. What's it about? Like, okay, so it's about porn, and we've had people come on here and talk about that. Daniel, okay, let me see. But yeah, you think it'll take longer than 20 minutes?
Yeah, I guess. Because that's a topic for me. I'm really, that's one of my fields that I want to go into, because I think I have some qualities to help to change stuff in it.
Oh, wow.
Because if you go with the topic porn, it's I did not dive deep into it, but I wanted to know what's all about it.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if you know John Wineland. He does men. He's a teacher coach who works with men, but also with women, and also with both of them at the same time. And he don't teach stuff like I don't know how to explain this. That's really hard.
Well, I think what you're saying is it revolves around sexual distortion, which is what which is what we were talking about on the last show, or part of what we were talking about with Alicia. But yeah, it sounds like a great topic. I think what we'll need to do though is I'll reach out to Daniel, and I was trying to find him on Messenger, but and we'll just do a show on it. I mean, these are the things we need to talk about. These are the things
because we Daniel, I and Nadia, we met in Zurich in the summer.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's Nadia?
Hmm?
Nadia.
Nadia is another one from Switzerland. Um,
I'm gonna look her up.
and I guess she's coming on some time in the future.
What's her last name?
uh, Elisa,
Edisa.
I think. But don't put
I think I
the
found it.
pressure on her
Oh no, no,
because
I'm not going to. No, no, that person's from New York. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it
and
out.
when we met and then we um, talked later on Zoom, and we touched this topic. I guess Daniel told me in Zurich about porn and his experiences with it. So, but only a small teaser. We did we did not go into this topic.
Well, I think it would be a good discussion to have, especially coming from a man, because we know that's where it's anchored. Let's say it's anchored. The women aren't anchoring porn. I mean, not as a whole. In general, it's the distorted masculine energy. Um, but yeah, I think that's a great subject. I'll reach out to Daniel. I was trying to figure out if that was a fake account on Facebook because I couldn't find him on Messenger, and I see that he was on Facebook here. But he said to send him the thing on YouTube. But I'll contact him. Maybe we'll do it this weekend, or certainly next week. God, what were we talking about?
Yeah, maybe we can go into this topic a little bit because I I guess for me it's this field about sexuality and porn. I'm not. A lot of times when you talk with women about porn or you mention this topic, they go, "Oh no, that's bad," and they accuse men of um, how do you call this? That's really tough to explain this in English. And this would help when Daniel is here. Then I can
Yeah.
tell him in Swiss German, and he can translate.
Well,
Um,
I think it would be cool to capture, and Morgan and I have talked about this, and this is actually how this whole thing started with doing this show. Was we'd have conversations about what was going on that you didn't hear out there, right?
mhm,
You read posts about this or that or this download or this activation, but you really didn't have these conversations. So, like you, Daniel, and Nadia, just having a conversation, capturing that conversation, almost as if nobody was watching you, right? Just like this,
mhm.
basically. I think is really powerful. And these subjects too, like what you said about the women, but I do think like with the Me Too movement and just the energy of the feminine energy as it's evolved since 2012 at least, um, there has been discussion about sexual distortion or sexual violation, and I do think that I've always thought that it's men that it's maybe not happened as frequently as it has with women, but I bet you it's a lot closer than we think, and so I
Yeah.
think it'd be great to have a discuss or listen to a conversation where we're listening to men talk about their own journey with it and their own gained awareness and consciousness and how it's I would imagine what the effect has been on their life as we're all transforming, you know.
And I guess this topic is also I don't know if you watched 50 Shades of Grey, the movie.
Uh,
50 Shades of Grey.
yeah, I tried to watch a little bit of it one time back, when I was watching Netflix. Um, but yeah, I don't. I know what it was about. I know it was. So what? Go ahead.
Because I was wondering all the time when the movie was in the cinema, why people would go and watch this stuff. And as that's one thing. I can go into this field that is presented to the um, I don't want to call them normal people, but I don't have a proper word at the moment. To the mainstream people, it's also not the right word. Um, who are not, maybe it's better said, who the people who are not that conscious as we are, but in a other way they are conscious, but they can't verbalize it. I see it as this, and so I have this um, I can go into this field and help to transform
Right.
and bring a way. Not I can't bring my way to them, but I can give them some like inspirations how they can uh, transform
You kind of
the way.
you kind of show them the door.
Exactly. Because 50 Shades of Grey, I watched it 3 years ago or something like this, and I was really astonished about the script and the play. How, because in the first part, it's the last 10 minutes who has the whole meaning of the movie. The message is in the last 10 minutes, and that's somehow like um, the feminine can help the masculine to
Yes.
transform stuff they are carrying.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll reach out to Daniel and let's see if we can set up and maybe Nadia too. Y'all can just reinvent the conversation, and I'll get off the screen and y'all can talk. Well,
I
big.
guess it would be really good to have a conversation with you, because you bring another viewpoint on
Mm-hmm.
it and
Yeah.
other
Yeah, I'd be there.
stuff. And
I'll be
I
there.
don't know if Nadia wants to come on screen.
Well, we'll see if she wants to. We'll see if she wants to. But I'll reach out to you. It was good seeing you
Okay.
again. Thanks for being so open, and
Yeah.
thanks for the great idea that we'll just continue this conversation with our friends in the very near future. You take care.
Yeah.
Have a
You
nice
too.
evening in Switzerland, and be safe. All right.